Greetings and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name is Jeff, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friends Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
Richard and Michael debate and deliberate the Mount Rushmore of many topics. This time they are taking on a contender, a pretender, a rocker or yacht rocker to the throne. That is Tim Granlund. How are you doing, Tim?
Ahoy! I'm doing well.
Ahoy. Right on. Tim, the topic was your suggestion, and we appreciate you coming along to us in our time of need and suggesting such a great topic. And what, sir, is the topic that you suggested?
My topic that I suggested is the Mount Rushmore of yacht rock.
That's awesome. What inspired you to suggest this?
A few cocktails on the 4th of July. That is partly true, but I had, always been a fan of yacht rock, and 4th of July I was having a couple of drinks, and we watched a live stream of a concert by a yacht rock cover band, and was just, loving it, and I realized, there's actually 2 or 3 different sort of yacht rock cover bands out there, and each band kind of has some different songs that they specialize in. But then there's a few that you see always pop up, and you can just tell, when the room lights up. And I was like, man, there's definitely some really key songs to this genre. And I was like, man, that would actually make a really good Mount Rushmore. So I immediately hit you guys up and said, I have this idea.
We are glad you did. Is anybody... would you mind chiming in and tell us what do you think are qualifications for a song to be considered to be yacht rock or part of that genre?
I think there's a few elements to it. I think it's, it's late 70s through the 80s, kind of soft rock. It's definitely got kind of a West Coast sound, they call it. There's just something really easygoing about it. It's never too aggressive and fast, but it's never too slow and syrupy and ballady, or it rarely is. Mm-hmm. It's very slickly produced. It just doesn't sound like, little, rough garage bands or guys that are just playing raw, intense music. It's very thoughtful and considered, with very professional musicians who just are very polished, and so it sounds that way. And you've got very clear vocals, and you've got just quick little hits of guitar solos. They aren't these long, endless things that go on. And there's a lot of key people that you see pop up on each other's music. So it's I think what the yacht rock show that I think kind of inspired this genre, it came along in the early 2000s and was kind of looking back on this sort of era of music. And they kind of retroactively applied this term yacht rock to it. But I think one of the things the show was tapping into is this idea of this sort of network of musicians and singers and songwriters that were all just sort of working on each other's albums and each other's songs. And so you kind of had a lot of these similar sounds and voices that you were hearing. So it's certain personnel and producers and singers and writers that pop up on all these songs that kind of help categorize them as yacht rock, because they kind of become part of this, they come out of this community of musicians. And then I think the most important thing is just that it's smooth.
Well, right on. Let's weigh anchor, and let's kind of steer our way out of the harbor. And Captain Tim, you're going to give us the first of your choice of 4 Mount Rushmore suggestions. What's your first?
All right. My first choice is Toto, their song Rosanna.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yes. I think they are one of the foundational groups in this genre. And, there are definitely a few songs. I kind of went in circles deciding which one I think is the most emblematic and the most worthy of being on the Mount Rushmore. But this is the one I landed on. I think it's kind of got a little bit of everything that you want out of a yacht rock song. And it's a straight up banger, man. It's just, it's fun. I think a lot of people like to think of Africa. That feels a little too gimmicky to me at times. This one feels a little bit more purely in the yacht rock bullseye.
Yeah, and I think Hold the Line is a little too hard rocking to be yacht rock.
Yes.
Was Toto one of those bands that was made up of, when you talk about one of the charming things about yacht rock is the cross-pollination between the musicians and producers. was Toto that studio band that kind of became its own thing? I
Yes.
forget. Okay, yeah.
They're definitely, one of those. I mean, I feel like actually the Eagles kind of were that way too. They were kind of like Linda Ronstadt's band, I think, and then they became band. But Toto, more specifically, I don't think that I felt like they were attached to any one artist. They were just all of these guys who could just show up, get the job done real fast, just, nail it the first once or twice, through, and then they'd be out. They were all business, just very uber proficient musicians.
Yeah. Is this song really about Rosanna Arquette? I've heard tell that it was.
I feel like they've always liked to keep up the mystery about whether it is or not. I feel like it has to be. I mean,
okay. Because then I've also read
I don't care. I'm going to pretend that it is no matter what.
Pretend that it is. That this is not the only hit song, because supposedly Peter Gabriel wrote "In Your Eyes" also about Rosanna Arquette.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah. They lived together for several years. This, same thing says she's behind Rosanna. I think Linda McCartney or Linda Eastman was also the inspiration for not just one or two, but I think like three hit songs. But yeah, that's a cool way to come out. Smooth.
There's another Mount Rushmore right there. Women who inspired songs.
Oh, for sure. Oh yeah.
Write that down, Michael. Write that down.
Yeah.
I'll mark it.
Black Betty being one of the Ramalam. So guys, Tim Granlund comes out smooth but forceful with his first choice. What do you got?
Well, our first choice, or at least I guess I'll go first, which it seemed like the most obvious one, which is "Sailing" by Christopher Cross.
Oh, wow.
A love song to his boat and to a canvas sail and to just getting away, getting away from it all. And it feels like this is the song that if Nirvana had written a song that was literally called Grunge, and then you knew why grunge rock was named after the entire genre, this feels like that. This is like when people think of yacht rock, they think of the literal song about being on a yacht and sailing, and it has to be this real, just dreamy, song about being on a yacht in some certain in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think it's important, that you touched on it's about getting away. I feel like that's a lot of the songs too. There's this sort of getting away, whether it's on vacation or escaping or running away from mistakes, but that's definitely an element of yacht rock for sure.
There seems to be yacht rock or like this kind of soft rock, kind of early mid 1970s to early 80s. It is so antithesis of importance or reaction to the world around you. It's music that you listen to when you have nothing to protest or you have no strife. Really, what is he getting away from? I can't imagine what he's getting away from. He's just kind of
Michael, his mutual funds took a real hit that week. And you don't know what that does to a man.
It just doesn't feel like a response to anything that's happening in society. It's just literally, soft and syrupy, and the quintessential song you'd hear on Coast if you're on the West Coast. Another thing that was tied into yacht rock and this song "Sailing" is Coast FM is just all about just taking it easy. So, songs that aren't going to challenge you in the office.
All right, Tim Granlund, what's your second choice?
My second choice was actually also Christopher Cross, "Sailing."
Oh, wow. Okay.
There you go.
He is emblematic. Like you said, it's literally in the title there, "Sailing." But it's I like that you talked about him having mutual funds or not having much strife, because it's also interesting to me if you actually look at the person Christopher Cross, he's like the least cool, like he's the last person you would look at and go, oh, that guy won a boatload of, no pun intended, a boatload of Grammys and was like this huge musical sensation for like this entire period of the early 80s and was like one of the best selling artists because he just literally just wore kind of like oversized polos and jeans and was kind of, receding hairline and like he just didn't look cool at all. But
yeah, he's one of those guys that MTV was not kind to him. Like, hey, cut to the boats more is what the director of the video for Sailing was saying. I think video killed the radio star for him, actually, very specifically.
Yes. I definitely,
Have you seen recent pictures of him where he looks like the perfect cross between the two guys from
Cross.
Yeah, the perfect cross, the Christopher Cross between Kyle Glass and Jack Black from Tenacious D.
I'm looking in that sense, maybe.
I'm excited to look for throughout the rest of these choices any lyrics in a choice that have any kind of strife whatsoever. Anything other than white guy problems, rich guy problems. That's what. And what range of falsetto is Michael McDonald singing them? That's what I'm curious about.
Yeah, that was an important thing too that I thought about. Like when I was putting together my Mount Rushmore, I wanted to make sure there were certain songs that had kind of multiple songs from one artist, and I was like, well, technically, I really like this song better than this other one, but I needed to represent kind of different artists who are these pillars of the yacht rock sort of genre.
The Rushmore. Oh yeah, for sure.
So, for Christopher Cross, I kind of kept going back and forth. And one of the considerations, one of the other songs I was thinking about that didn't make the cut was Ride Like the Wind because of the Michael McDonald connection.
Ah.
So I'm glad you mentioned him.
Okay. All right.
Beautiful voices working together. And man, oh man.
Yeah.
Doesn't get
because in that song, he's got to make it to the border of Mexico. And that can't be a good situation for anybody.
Is he on his boat trying to make it to the border of Mexico?
All right, Winfield and Manfredi.
All right, so our second choice. There's a little bit of strife in this one there, Jeff, for you. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Do you like pina coladas? Or do you like getting drunk in the rain? Because if you do, boy, do I have a song for you. I am talking about Escape, otherwise known as, in parentheses, the Pina Colada song.
Oh, wonderful.
By Rupert Holmes. Yeah, it's a fantastic cheeseball song. Mm-hmm. It's something that I think not a lot of yacht rock songs are, which is a story song. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, yacht rock songs tend to be a little bit more ephemeral with what their topics are about.
Oh,
they're about
very linear.
Yeah, they're not telling you a story. Mm-hmm. And that's not the case with Escape, because this is the story of someone whose relationship with his woman's not going very well. So he puts out a ad in the local newspaper looking for someone who likes pina coladas and gets a response and shows up to the bar to meet the woman. And it turns out it's his woman.
His lady.
What the twist?
His old lady, he calls her.
Yes, his old lady. Thank you. And they realize that they have more in common than they thought, and everyone lives happily ever after. Mm-hmm. And I chose this song partially because Rupert Holmes, who wrote and sang the song, wound up becoming a multi-time Tony Award-winning Broadway songwriter and producer.
Yeah.
And nobody will ever remember him for that.
Yeah.
when he dies, and I hope it's not for a long time, even though we do have a tendency to curse people on the show, when it happens, you know that he will be Rupert, the Pina Colada song, Holmes. That's what he's going to be.
Absolutely.
It's going to be in parentheses on his tombstone.
Yes. And I think that just sort of goes to the power of this song, how kind of timeless it's become. Mm-hmm. And it's so damn catchy. It is an earworm. Whether or not it's good is kind of irrelevant. More than anything else, it's catchy. And that's what it stands for.
Have you heard Rupert Holmes on the Gilbert Gottfried podcast, or there's another songwriting podcast in which the tales behind the making of the song that he shares are so fascinating because he claims that he was recording this much longer song and the drummer was drunk or hungover or on drugs or something.
All of the above.
And all of the above. And the drummer the only part of this longer song that they were able to record successfully was the dump, doo dump, bump, ba bump. But there was a part before, there was a part after. But it's the last day of the recording session. He's got only that bit to work with, so he just loops it. And that's the song. And he also claims that he was so concerned. Oh, he also says the initial lyric was, if you like Humphrey Bogart, because...
Yeah, he said he made this song up in like 20 minutes.
Yeah, and that one of the reasons why the lyrics scan so poorly, I've got to meet you by tomorrow noon. Like, who sings? Nobody talks like that. Nobody sings like that. He claims that what we hear was the first time he sang it, and he was trying to test the premise, test the surprise. So he asked his guitar player to just kind of go along with it, and he wanted to see in real time, does this guy anticipate the ending of the lovers reuniting with their actual lovers? So that's why it was sung so poorly. None of that seems real, but he claims it to be true.
Yeah, so Richard, you mentioned that, he went on to win several Tonys. The show he won them for was The Mystery of Edwin Drood, and we did it my senior year of high school and my senior year of college, just coincidentally.
Wow.
It's an amazing accomplishment because, first of all, the show has like 256 different endings or something because the audience votes on the ending. They stop the show about 3/4 of the way through and they go, and the audience votes on who they think the killer is, who they think the mysterious detective is, which two people are going to fall in love. And it's this whole crazy, multiple permutations that can happen at the end. So that's already an incredible accomplishment on its own. But this guy wrote the book, he wrote the music, he wrote the lyrics all by himself and won Tonys for all three. Nobody ever does that.
No.
So needless to say, we're doing the show my senior year of college, and we actually have Rupert Holmes come to the University of Virginia. He comes, he sees the show, and he meets with all the drama students during the day one time for like a, sort of speaker series session. And so he had a piano and he played us the Pina Colada song and told us the story sort of in real time, right there intimately, just like 30 of us and him sitting on the stage playing that song. And it was super cool.
That's awesome.
What a day. That must have been so much fun.
It was a lot of fun. It was he's such a fascinating guy. He has a million other stories. He used to write all of Barbra Streisand songs, and so he's just one of those like polymaths that just has he can go on for hours with stories. Very cool guy. I definitely recommend looking up any interviews you can find with him.
We'll see if we can get him on the podcast. The Mount Rushmore of him. Yeah. So, dudes, we are at our halftime, and we have on our podcast a living, breathing example of an individual who was a listener and then gave us a great suggestion, is now joining in. So you have the opportunity to do that as well. Go out onto Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and let us know what you think of the podcast. Let us know what you think a good suggestion would be for a future episode. You don't have to be a guest on it, but we'd love to hear from you. Then, if you wouldn't mind, go back and leave us a rating or review on past episodes. Download them, listen to them. We subscribe. Please subscribe. We'd love for you to do that. And we are back from our halftime. And Tim Granlund is not only a performer, because it sounds like he did Mr. of Edwin Drood a few times in the venue or the milieu of musical theater, but he is also a prolific air guitarist. Sir, tell us about your recent character who you performed.
Yeah, so I've been doing competitive air guitar for over a decade now. But this year, obviously, due to the pandemic, all of our championships got canceled. All of our regional competitions and our national championship and even the international, the World Air Guitar Championships, all canceled. But the U.S. decided we were still going to take advantage of this time to do something a little different. So they did an online edition of the U.S. Air Guitar Championships. And so we all had an opportunity to shoot our own air guitar video. So instead of being confined to a stage at a particular club or venue, this was everybody kind of did it wherever and whenever they wanted to, and got to submit the video. So this was the year I was finally able to finally do something I'd been thinking about and kicking around, which was to do a yacht rock sort of performance. And I was always worried about, how it would go over in a competition in a real rock and roll club like the or something. But I was like, well, now that I can do it anywhere, I'm gonna shoot it. I'm gonna do this yacht rock performance on a yacht. So I christened myself Yachtlix Houlihan in honor of former former U.S. and world champion Hotlix Houlihan, who named himself after the character in MASH.
Okay.
So I was Yachtlix Houlihan, and I rented a sailboat and went out there with a friend and his camera, and we actually shot a music video of me performing air guitar to Toto's Rosanna.
Oh, that's great.
Boat at sea.
That's great.
It was smooth, I'll tell you what. It was super smooth.
It's totally smooth. Is that something that lived and died with the competition, or is available to view by viewers if we were to link it to the show notes or anything like that?
Yeah, you could actually go to Twitch. US Air Guitar has a Twitch channel, and we actually have the championship, the online championship they produced a whole beautiful show all around it with commentators and a telestrator drawing diagrams over the video. We had judges via Zoom. So that whole show is actually up and available on US Air Guitar's Twitch channel.
Oh, that sounds great.
I recommend everybody go check that out. There's kind of a retrospective show. There's all kinds of other content on there as well. But yeah, look up the Twitch channel or just go to YouTube and look up US Air Guitar, and you'll find all kinds of fun and great videos from a lot of really talented people over the years.
Well, that's fascinating. I would also want to ask, as we kind of segue into our third choice, is guitar a key instrument, do you believe, in the yacht? It's obviously a key instrument, a rock, but a yacht rock not necessarily features guitar, so it's not used. It's used in a smooth way.
Exactly. I think it is a key element, though, and I think, one of the key people is Steve Lukather of Toto. He's the guitarist for them, and, one of the things that he can often bring to a yacht rock song is just a quick and tasteful little solo. It isn't indulgent. We're not talking, Led Zeppelin, Jimmy Page type of songs. Just something quick and efficient and polished and smooth. He gets in, he gets the job done, and gets back out of the song again. So, yeah, he can definitely put some of the rock in yacht rock when needed.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, Tim, what is your third choice for the Mount Rushmore?
My third choice is the Doobie Brothers, led by the one and only Michael McDonald, one of the titans of the yacht rock world. And it's the song What a Fool Believes.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that is, by the way, also on our list.
Oh, cool.
It's a stone cold classic. I mean, it's smooth. It's got the keyboards. I think when you talk about key instruments like synthesizers, keyboards, that kind of very sort of electronic sound, having that in there is really, really key. Like that's one of those things when I hear that, I really think about, yacht rock. And of course, voice of an angel, Michael McDonald, just lending his pipes to this. And it's got a lot of that subject matter for yacht rock, talking about fools and whatnot. And
yeah.
I'm just going to throw out here, this is, I think, was a really huge oversight in your guys' previous Mount Rushmore of replacement singers. How you got nobody mentioned Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers is, I can't imagine, not even a mention.
I think I just automatically just assume Michael McDonald and the Doobie Brothers. They're so tightly connected. I forget that he was a replacement singer. So.
Yeah, and I feel like they became a completely different. I think sometimes you forget because they don't even sound like the same band. I think if you hear a pre and a post song from the Doobie Brothers, you'd go, "That's the same group, really?"
Yeah, yeah. Because this was not the same band that had to lecture the Good Times kids about not scalping tickets. Different band almost. So I chose. By the way, so we chose this one, and one of the reasons that I chose it was because this was. You talk about a meeting of the Titans. This was the first song that brought together Michael McDonald and Kenny Loggins.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So Michael McDonald had like the riff to this song and a verse, but he was having trouble getting a chorus and the rest of it together. So his bass player just happened to say, "Oh, I know Kenny Loggins, and he's been he talked about he'd love to work with you. So Kenny Loggins pulls up to Michael McDonald's house after they talk on the phone, and Michael McDonald is just playing the riff and trying to work it out. And Kenny Loggins hears it from outside. When he comes in, he's like, "What's that riff? That's what we need to work on. And I think I have an idea for it." And it just went from there. It was like this song was
cool.
This song was meant to be, and it is a jam. I know you talk about yacht rock, and sometimes there are things that make a song memorable other than the quality of the song. That's not the case here. This is a straight out fire song, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Agree, 110%. I mean, I love, you talk about how he heard it outside, and he's just coming by the house, heard it outside, and what's that riff? And then, they just magically make a song, and it goes back to that thing. All these guys just kind of knew each other and were just kind of all collaborating, and that they could just crank out these incredible, like, all-timer songs, just kind of off the cuff, like it didn't require years of laboring over these things. It wasn't this, like, creative masterwork that took their entire lives to make. It's just these things that they just recorded real quick. And just, these guys were just so good that they could just do it so easily.
Now, the Doobies, I think their earlier performances, like I think they performed for a lot of like biker rallies and things like that. So I think they don't necessarily fit within the wealthy country club vision of yacht rock. So that's kind of funny, the more rugged side. Do you imagine that the same lyrics, like I can imagine Kenny Loggins outside hearing and thinking those were the actual lyrics, and then transcribing them phonetically to Michael McDonald.
Is this the moment where we all do our Michael McDonald?
I think so.
She rises up to her fountain cheeks.
I have to confess, it was just a couple weeks ago. I was doing dishes, and What a Fool Believes was on the radio, or somehow it was playing, and my wife asked me, "What is this song about?" And I got misty-eyed when I was describing it. It's about some guy, and some woman is leading him on, and literally, it was like I was describing my romantic life or something like that. He doesn't know that she really doesn't love him. She's kind of using him, but he believes that she's in love with him. What a fool believes he sees. And she just went, "Oh, okay." Like, I got a little bit teary-eyed over the kitchen sink there. Who didn't do that, Michael McDonald?
Song and not get a little misty, but also, like, not dance to it. It is kind of like you can't help but, like, you move when you hear it. It's just, that goes back to what Richard was saying, just straight up stone cold fire song.
Yeah. It's got a great groove. All right, so this would mean Richard and Michael are giving us their fourth. Is that right?
That's it, our fourth.
Okay.
Our fourth song is the song Moonlight Feels Right by the band Starbuck, who's a little-known band out of Atlanta, Georgia, and this song has a 35-second marimba solo in the middle of it. And my God, does this song need a 35-second marimba solo? Every song needs a 35-second marimba solo. This song is not very good, and I mostly chose it because it catches a lot of the same sort of themes of being out with someone you love in the moonlight, but also taking her by the ocean up by Chesapeake Bay. So there's a lot of like ocean feelings towards the song. And it's just, I think what caught me are two things. One, kind of the overall kind of tryst by the sea sort of aspect. Two, the marimba solo. And number three, the lead singer does this super, super creepy laugh like 3 or 4 times throughout the song. And he sings something and he's like, it's just like, what is going on here? You have to. Yeah, I don't know. It's like this little in joke that it's just so creepy and weird, and it I don't know. It really got to me. Jeff, when I sent you this song earlier, just to say, hey, we're going to talk about this one song, because I wasn't sure if you would know. Um, you wrote back to me. It's what white boy herpes sounded like in 1976, and I was like, man, you got this so on key.
I was, I guess, I am old enough to have heard much of this music in its first iteration. I remember the Wimpy Rock station in Kansas City played the yacht rock stuff. Q104 in Kansas City would play those songs. But my mom also had all these records. She had all these things, and she was single at that time. Her father and I had split up. Her father and her had split up, and I remember she had a party, invited a bunch of friends over, and the theme was Shangri-La. You don't have to be a star to be in the show at Shangri-La. And I think that was like a Stephen Bishop. I forget what lyric that was, but it was. She had the record. She had I guess then it was kind of a DJ playing all of these songs, and everybody had a mustache back then. Even the women. Timmy Granlund, it's your time to shine because you are the last person to share their last choice.
Well, I feel like I've been going through my list. I was kind of envisioning a literal Mount Rushmore with just these faces carved into the stone, and kind of on the left you've got a group of smaller faces making up Toto, and then you've got Christopher Cross, and then you've got Michael McDonald. Even though he was with the Doobie Brothers, it's really all about that man there. And their faces are carved into the granite up there. These founding fathers of yacht rock, and there's one more, and we brought him up earlier, and it's time to make sure he's up there as well, and that's the one and only Kenny Loggins with his song "Heart to Heart." Which, coincidentally enough, as Richard had just mentioned on What a Fool Believes, this has Michael McDonald as well. Co-written, he played the piano, he does the background vocals on it. So this is another one of those just songs that is the nexus of all things yacht rock universe.
Mm-hmm. I believe there was not a rock song between 1977 and 1980 that Michael McDonald didn't do backing vocals on. If you get a chance, there's an SCTV skit that's Rick Moranis.
It's so good.
As Michael McDonald coming in to do the backing vocals for "Ride Like the Wind." Mm-hmm. You guys make sure if you're listening and you haven't seen it yet, go see it. It's fantastic.
It's a better music video for "Ride Like the Wind" than the actual music video for "Ride Like the Wind."
Yes.
Do you feel perhaps Michael McDonald was not, we didn't recognize him because he was a vocalist who partnered with so many different, it almost seemed like a gun for hire versus an actual band member. Because I would know of him also on Steely Dan songs as well. So, yeah.
I think that is an interesting thing about him is I don't feel like I think of him, or I'll think of him a lot, but then you realize it wasn't really him. It was the Doobie Brothers, or it was him with Kenny Loggins. It was him with Christopher Cross. So it's like all these songs you think, what do I know of that Donald on his own, just like solo?
Yeah.
But that's not to take away from the great Kenny Loggins, who's had many acts in his career, I feel like. I feel like there's like that kind of folk artist Kenny Loggins, and then there's yacht rock Kenny Loggins, but then he kind of goes big time, becomes like the king of the movie soundtrack song. So there's kind of that third version of Kenny Loggins.
Yeah, I feel like
this is Loggins.
Look, I don't know this song from the name of it. I can't. I think we need to hear you sing some of it.
Oh no.
Jeff, there's a reason he does air guitar.
This song is great. It starts out slow, and it's just kind of got this kind of low bass line and beat. It's just like do 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 do, and it kind of draws you in. And Kenny's just singing softly, and then it just kind of hits you with this big giant chorus, and then it goes back and kind of shifts into this slow gear again, and then a big chorus, and then the bridge. And this is key, it's got a saxophone solo, and it's like sax is a very 80s instrument and a very yacht rock instrument that I love to hear. So this has got a nice little sax solo in there, but then you're also hearing some good keyboards again, and there's even some conga drums in there, a little bit of that. You hear that a lot of times underneath in the percussion of yacht rock songs. It gives it a little bit of an exotic feel. this song is a straight up banger.
I love it. Tim, I could have a show where you just describe songs because you've just con mucho gusto with these descriptions. This is great.
Thank you.
You do have to respect Loggins because, like, the Loggins and Messina stuff was so folk influenced and did feel very much a product of kind of like the late '60s and the folk movement, and then getting into the yacht rock and then his ability to do these high kind of testosterone kind of blockbuster movies to know that.
I went to the danger zone, you know.
Yeah.
How is that the same guy?
Crazy.
But that's the genius of Kenny Loggins.
Mm-hmm. So he tells stories of also being on tour with Fleetwood Mac during their kind of free fall cocaine nightmare years. It's funny.
So all of them?
all of the years of Fleetwood Mac, all of the years. Okay, guys. So any parting comments from Richard and Michael?
No, I just think it's great that we were able, I think, to show the wide range of yacht rock. You know, that it's more than just it's all smooth, but there's different ways that smooth can go.
Yeah. You know, I saw Yachtly Crew in concert, and they did incorporate even a little bit of Graceland, Paul Simon, stuff in there too. So it felt like it was the category was even more broad, and the audience was just kind of loving it. So it seems like the category is a pretty broad category.
I guess that's what I talk to too, because I feel like if they're the guy who did the yacht rock show way back when, and then who kind of coined this term yacht rock, I feel like he's very dogmatic about what is or isn't officially yacht rock, and he has a whole rating scale and all of that. But I think, especially with bands like Yachtly Crew and Harbor Party, I think you're seeing people kind of open up the category a little more, and I think there's also room to say, well, this isn't exactly yacht rock, or maybe not official yacht rock, but it's just a damn good song, and it's kind of a cousin of yacht rock, and when we're at a show, I want to hear that damn song, even if it isn't full yacht rock.
Yeah, this is a white man's overbite kind of dancing song, and so this will fit. Yeah. Winfield, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was just thinking of just the like ironic enjoyment of yacht rock by people in their 30s to early 40s now that didn't quite grow up with it, or maybe had it on as something that their parents listened to. And I think of just that moment in 40-Year-Old Virgin where they're just Paul Rudd is just rallying or railing against Michael McDonald, the song that's been replaying over and over and over. And it feels like, we talked about how, this is music that can easily be played within an office environment, but it cannot easily be played over and over in an electronic superstore environment. And I think so many people probably just were like, these people making fun of this. And then I wonder how much that just kind of started seeping into pop culture a little bit. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's fun, it's infectious, and I raise a tequila sunrise or a pina colada or at least some kind of boat drink to Tim for suggesting this topic, and I appreciate you coming to us with it. And congratulations, Tim, because you just trounced these dudes. It is. I think you should throw a life preserver in to just at least pull them in out of the water. But let me reiterate Tim's choices. Rosanna, Sailing, What a Fool Believes, which the dudes also chose, so you guys get a point for that. And Heart to Heart.
And a point for Sailing, too.
Oh, gosh, you guys, okay. Oh, okay, I guess it's 50-50. So it's better than I thought. So, Tim, when is the next air guitar anything? Is it going to happen soon? This will air Thursday.
A lot TBD. I think there's going to be content coming out on the US Air Guitar Twitch channel. I think let's kind of keep following that. But I think as far as sort of live shows and another season of competitions, hopefully next spring and summer. It's traditionally when they are, but we'll see how the COVID situation pans out.
Yeah.
Who can do what? But until then, we'll keep practicing in our basements and our bedrooms, and then we'll be ready to take it back out on the stage when we're allowed to.
Sweet. Awesome. That's a good contactless thing because you're not even making contact with a guitar, really. There's no it's air everything. It seems like 6 feet of distance would be easy for that art, but
yeah, but when you're windmilling, you're just sending all of the germs really rocketing out into the audience. So it's maybe not the best.
Point taken. All right, thank you very much, Tim, for being on the show. This has been the Mount Rushmore of Yacht Rock. I, as always, am Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.